There
Hello,
you
can you hear
are.
me?
I can. Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you, Annette?
I'm outstanding. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, yeah, it's my pleasure.
Okay, so I just want to get right to it because I'm not sure about my ability to edit this later. So I'm going to try not to have any outtakes and not make any swear words. So the first thing that I want to do, I'm going to tell our participants to check you out on the Behind the Shield podcast, episode 94, and the Fire Inside podcast, episode 17, because those give really good background about your business and kind of what you do. But can you tell us briefly how you started first responder sleep recovery and why?
So, my husband, Sean, is a Denver firefighter, and he was working on a really busy engine. They're running about 5,000 calls a year. And I started to notice that he was having some pretty serious health issues from his sleep loss. And I just suggested, hey babe, why don't you just give some of these practices a shot, and we joke around that maybe he only said yes because he was still trying to win me over. but that he nevertheless really gave it a shot, and not only did his sleep improve, all of his vitals in his annual physical improved as well. So his heart rate, cholesterol, VO2 max, testosterone levels, everything improved simply because he dedicated and prioritized practices to improve his sleep. So
Um,
from there, he said, I'm sure I'm not the only firefighter or first responder that has sleep issues. So why don't you share this with, the brothers and sisters on the job? And so it kind of started as just an idea. I was involved in a lot of other things at the time. But like anything, it actually, really took a tragedy to move this idea and concept into my life passion and dedication. And unfortunately, um, my husband lost his first partner on the job to suicide. And at that point, I realized, knowing that mental health is connected to sleep, I wanted to use what I specialize in to support first responders. And so that's the evolution of how it came to be.
Amazing. And just as a little backstory, Chris and I met Jacqueline last year at the Illinois Firefighter Peer Support Conference or Symposium, and we both took her class and we loved it. And so when we decided to do Spring for Change, we knew that we needed to prioritize sleep, nutrition, physical training, and then mindfulness practices. So we immediately thought about you. So we asked our participants the question, what keeps you up at night? And it kind of broke down to 4 basic themes. And I kind of put them into these categories: sort of lack of discipline or behavioral issues. And examples of that were the phone waking people up, or having a dog in bed that woke them up, or watching TV in bed. The second one was their brains. So a lot of people have anxiety, PTSD, thoughts racing in their head, and stress. The third one was perceived lack of time, meaning the spouse's schedule affects their sleep, or COVID excuses, or they have a newborn. And then I had other, which is snoring spouse and noises and things like that. So first, Jacqueline, can we address that lack of discipline and that sleep routine that you taught us was so important?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it comes down to education. When you become really educated on anything in life, your priorities shift. If you know that, going into a certain structure fire, there's, certain carcinogens, you're going to protect yourself, right? Well, we do now know that sleep loss is linked to cancer development. It's been proven. So knowing that, all of a sudden, it's your choice. Am I going to prioritize healthy sleep habits and a routine that fosters a good sleep, you know? So one is just being educated. Discipline, I think, blossoms out of that. You have to, what you care about, you prioritize. And when you're educated, I feel that you begin to care more about it. Like, oh, wow, you know, most firefighters who take my class afterwards say, well, I didn't really realize the importance of sleep. Now I know, and now I have a reason to make changes. So one, educate yourself. You know, there's actually a handful of great TED Talks. Dr. Matthew Walker, have you seen his TED Talk?
No, but I'm going to put that in the notes. That sounds great.
So his TED Talk will inspire change. Okay, it's called "Sleep is Your Superpower," and he also wrote a best-selling book called "Why We Sleep." It's highly educational. It's all evidence-based. It'll rock your world. It's really worth listening to his TED Talk.
Awesome.
So I think that's one step towards creating discipline.
Okay. And then can you talk about some of the no-nos, if you will? So the things that we should try to avoid in order to get better sleep.
Yeah, and this will address anxiety. You know, a lot of us in our Western world rely heavily on stimulants like caffeine to keep us awake. And while many people are able to fall asleep pretty quickly with caffeine flowing through them, it has been shown to elevate anxiety levels, and it actually causes the body to increase its production of cortisol, your stress hormone produced from the adrenal glands. So I think one thing is eliminate caffeine in the afternoon. If someone has high levels of anxiety, it's something to consider just cutting cold turkey. That's one huge thing. And I know coffee is a huge one in the firehouse. But if you can maybe shift to something, an alternative, even decaf coffee or tea. I know it's probably not the most popular idea in the firehouse because it's such a tradition, but you know, caffeine, and it's a vasoconstrictor. It's putting more pressure on your cardiac system. So I think caffeine is one of the most overused and abused drugs. That said, it's okay to rely on it when you need it. You know, it's okay to have a cup of coffee in the morning, or when you really need to be awake. Absolutely use it. I've nothing bad to say about that. But on a regular basis, I would say caffeine is a huge no-no. And I think actually a lot of people really do know, oh, this is good for my sleep, this is bad for my sleep. Same thing with alcohol. It's a huge myth that, you know, yes, alcohol is a sedative. It will knock you out. But it, as Dr. Walker says, it's not naturalistic sleep. And what we know about alcohol is that it will suppress your body's natural time in those most important sleep phases, which is your deep delta sleep and REM sleep. And when you're in delta, your testosterone levels increase, your growth hormone surges during your deep sleep. So what are we doing when we are medicating our sleep with alcohol? We are suppressing ultimately our growth hormone and testosterone hormone. And we as women have testosterone like men, just a lot less.
Awesome.
So I think those are two things for sure.
Okay. And then I think, you know, people inherently, I think, kind of know that. They don't practice what they know, but I think what they might not know is the importance of avoiding that screen time and that blue light. Can you talk just a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is ingrained in our culture, and this takes time. So if anyone's trying to create good sleep habits, be patient with yourself and be realistic with your goal setting. So when you are exposed to blue light from cell phones, iPad, TV screens, you are signaling the special ganglionic cells in your eyes that communicate with the master clock in your brain. It's called the SCN. It's the suprachiasmatic nucleus. It essentially is like your internal alarm clock. The moment you have light, the brain perceives it to be daytime, and we as a species have evolved for thousands of years to be awake, hunt, thrive, survive in the day with the sun, and we rest and restore when the sun sets at night. And our biology, our hormones have matched that cycle. It's the circadian rhythm. So as you have light exposure to cells in your eyes and the SCN notices, oh, it's light, you must be awake, it basically ultimately tells your adrenal glands, which are situated above the kidneys, to produce cortisol, and which is helpful to be awake every single day. That said, cortisol and melatonin, which is your sleep hormone, have an inverse relationship. So when cortisol levels rise, melatonin levels are suppressed. So in effect, when you are, looking at the TV screen, thinking that you are, getting ready for bed, really you're priming your body, because your body can't tell the difference between the sun and the blue light from your TV. You're essentially priming your body to be awake rather than to be asleep. And that's why so many people feel wired and tired at night, because we are addicted to our cell phones, our TV shows, so on and so forth. Now that said, you can use blue blockers, and I have mine right here. You can see it. They're just like an orange tinted. They're not prescription. It's just to block the blue light. So if, my husband loves to watch certain shows, if he wants to watch a show, I'll just put on my blue blockers before, if we're doing that in the evening. And I usually try to make sure I have about 2 hours before sleep of no screen time. I'm not perfect. No one is, but that's the ultimate goal most of the time.
Amazing, amazing. And Jacqueline, I want to be super respectful of your time today. So I wanted to ask you one last thing. You do a specialized yoga that allows people to fall asleep, especially after we go on a call or something like that. Can you just hit on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a practice. It's based in an ancient meditation technique, but it has been modernized, and it uses the biological process of sleep to help the brain basically quiet down the thoughts. It helps you go beneath the crazy mind, all the chatter. I like to think that a lot of us are time travelers. Like, we are always going into the future, like, hey, what do I have to do tomorrow, the next day, this week? Or we're rewinding and replaying the past. We're going into the past. What happened with this? And just replaying it and processing. So in order for the body to really rest, we need to transcend the patterns of the mind and get into relaxation in the body. And this technique is highly effective to just turn down the mind. And it's actually been studied at over a dozen universities or so. The Department of Defense has studied it extensively through Dr. Richard Miller's work with veterans. It's a type of meditation called Yoga Nidra. Nidra means sleep. And if you have anxiety, a busy mind, or if you feel like you are lacking sleep due to whatever reasons in life, this helps you restore more effectively. And one reason for that is, so when you enter into a deeply relaxed state in Yoga Nidra, according to different university brain scans of people practicing this consciously, brainwave activity slows within 30 minutes to theta and delta brainwaves. And If you're familiar with the sleep cycle, delta is one of the slowest brain waves that your body goes through during deep restoration. And usually it will take over an hour for the body to naturally access those brain waves in the normal sleep cycle. But this practice essentially is like a true power nap. You access delta brain waves within 30 to 40 minutes of this practice, which in my opinion, everybody should be doing because we are all sleep deprived in this country. And the best thing is it's effortless. You listen to a recording. I have done a lot of recordings and practices between 20 minutes and 45 minutes. And you just allow your body to follow the guidance. It gives you something to think about. All of a sudden, your body just completely relaxes. Your heart rate slows, your breath slows, and you enter into those deeply restorative states. Even if you remain conscious, you're getting the benefit of it. So it's really effective for people with insomnia. And the US Surgeon General actually endorsed this for PTSD, insomnia, anxiety, and depression. So it is the most transformative practice. It's changed my life and for sure my husband's and many of the firefighters that I work with.
That is so amazing. And I am going to actually link your website in the notes so that people can contact you. But I wanted to ask you just one more question. And this one comes from Ryan Carroll. He works at Bridge Athletic, which is a company that has software that it's basically a delivery system for training programs. But he asked specifically about sleep wearables. Do you believe in any of them? Do you think any of them work accurately? Is there one you recommend?
Yeah. So are you regarding technology? Is this in regards to technology?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the Fitbit is good. There are a lot of different products out there right now. If you want to invest in one of the highest quality products and software, I recommend the Oura Ring. I actually have it on right now. You can see it's just like this. It's a really lightweight ring. You can swim with it. It lasts 6 days on a battery, which is great because when I travel, I don't have to bring my cord. And it goes in airplane mode too, so you can not have worry of any of the, if there is a concern about the EMFs or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I personally really enjoy the Oura Ring. It's been really fascinating to track my own sleep and sleep routines and workouts, and tracks your daily activity. It gives you really good signals like, oh, you've been sitting for too long, you might want to stretch your legs, or you had an excellent sleep last night, today's a great day to go hard on your workout. It gives you realistic feedback and goals, and it really holds you accountable. And it's really cool to see, oh, I did that last night and I got 5% more delta sleep than my normal sleep. I'm going to continue to do that. And it motivates you because it gives you a little crown if you get over like 88% or something. So it's fun.
I'm very motivated by trophies and crowns. Okay, well, Jacqueline, this has been so great. Chris and I appreciate this so much. Any parting thoughts that you want to leave our Spring for Change people with?
Well, one, thanks for doing this. I think you and Chris are awesome what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
For the greater fire service. It's just awesome. And I love to see collaborations, and I'm so happy to be part of this with this interview. So thank you. And two is we're going through a really unique and challenging time right now. So I think just, remembering to not be too hard on ourselves when we don't get sleep, because right now we're going through a global crisis. Don't beat yourself up if you're not sleeping. What we're facing is serious. It's unprecedented. But knowing that we really actually, it might sound cliche, but we are all in this together. And if I could be of service to you or anyone, please reach out. I'm here. And just, take it one step at a time and just do the best you can do. And that's my parting words.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you from the bottom of our hearts, Jacqueline. We certainly appreciate you. And I'm going to put all your information so people can reach out to you if they would like to. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Annette, well, have a beautiful day. Keep up your great work and stay safe out there and healthy.
Thank you. And tell Sean and his department, same, stay healthy, stay safe.
I will. Thanks, Annette.
Bye, Jacqueline. Have a great day.